Hey beloved, it's your sister here, Priscilla. I know life is full and busy, so the fact that you're spending some of your time here means the world to me. I'm excited, I'm grateful, and I don't take it lightly. My heart is to make every episode you spend here absolutely worth it. Now, we've been recording all year to get ready for this launch, so if you hear some references from past months, just know it's all in preparation to bring you fresh encouragement every week. You'll hear episodes with my amazing sister Christy, inspiring guest interviews, and deep dives into God's Word and the everyday together. I'm so glad you're here, so let's go. This is just the beginning.
We are so strong.
All right, here we go. Number 2. Okay, ready?
I hate doing this. I hate looking at this.
Why? I noticed that because I watched the first 10 minutes of the last one.
It.
And I'm like this, and you're like,
because I'm just like, look at us. Like, I'd rather just like talk to you.
okay. Hey, welcome. Hello, welcome back.
Hello.
Episode
2 already.
Can't believe it. We are here. And last episode we were talking about rest and we just felt like we needed a part 2. So this is the part 2 of that.
I think we're going to often need a part 2.
I know there's so much. And then we didn't even cover everything that we planned to cover.
No.
So
but we're also getting to know introducing ourselves and getting to know each other.
We need to do that. We don't know each other very well.
Not enough.
Even though sometimes there are things that I don't know about you and I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
And then there are other things that I'm like,
oh, roll my eyes. I've known that all my life about you. Yeah.
So how are you?
Good. Yeah. Good. I'm thankful that tomorrow is Friday.
Yes.
And that the week is ending.
Yeah.
And the weekend is coming. I'm very excited. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Weekends are good.
I finally feel like we were talking in the last episode about February being one of the busiest months.
Yeah.
Not just of the year, but this February felt like one of the busiest I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
And we've come out of that. It's March and my weekends are a lot freer and a lot more, if that's even a word, a lot more chill. So I'm excited to be, as we said before, rhythms.
Yeah.
I was in a rhythm of busyness and I knew that March was coming.
Yeah.
And I'm in a rhythm of a bit more chill, relaxed, balanced weekend. So
That's so good.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Me too.
Because when it just feels too wild, it feels like when am I getting my head above water?
Yeah.
Like at this, because it just feels like a lot. And I was reflecting, because I do that a lot, but I was reflecting how I'm on maternity leave. So I have a lot, way more, I don't know, I guess I have time on my hands, but I don't feel like I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I feel like there's always something to do.
You wouldn't be you.
No. That is true.
That's not you to just sit around and do nothing.
No, but and in saying that, I feel like a lot of the practices that we're talking about, it's at least the ones that I've implemented in my life, I've put them in even when I was full-time working mum.
Yeah.
So it was something that it was like,
oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like now I think, and what my point is that I feel like now I'm getting to the point where I feel like I'm reaping the benefits of some of those practices. Because it's just a constant now. So it's one of them, for example, is family night. So we have family night on Monday nights and it's something that we implemented, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was something that we just found that we were so busy on our weekends that our weekends would go and we never felt like we were connecting just as us, our little family.
Yeah.
So we started doing family night and we chose Monday night because in our lifestyles at the time, it was the night that I didn't have to go to night meetings, when I worked in church or school. Neither of us had sports or, I think we might have been in a life group or something like that or whatever. And so Monday night was just clear. And then it's become such a staple that now when things happen on a Monday night, unless it's our brother has a birthday or
Yeah.
like something
Yeah.
like, okay, we, you know,
can't
something's
miss
come
it.
up, we
Yeah.
can't miss it. We just know that Monday night, and we normally have some, like dinner's normally a fun dinner of some sort. Like we'll have like pizza, or this Monday night we're having breakfast for dinner.
Oh, nice. So
Which
like
I've been-
pancakes or something.
Yeah. So and
cool.
Zane's not a fan of pancakes, but he's like, as long as there's eggs, that's all I need. And I'm like,
That's so
okay, sweet
funny.
as. And I've had it in my schedule for a few weeks now to do breakfast for dinner, but we've just never gotten around to it. So this Monday night for family night, we're going to do that. So
That's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that I feel like it's good.
And I think the more you do it, like in the beginning, it might seem a bit weird or a bit like carving out a weekend every month or 2 weekends, which we're trying to do. And I don't even have a name for it yet. It's like on my calendar, it's like no plan family time. But it's like, it doesn't have to be family time. It can just be bludging, or it can be a weekend that's carved out and we're like, oh, we've got no plans. Let's work on this room in the house, or let's do this.
Yes.
Or it can be nothing, or it can be we still make lunch plans or dinner plans with friends. Like it can be whatever we want it to be.
It's your time.
But it's carved out where we say no to everything we want to, unless we want to say yes to something.
That's
you know?
right. Wait, have I told you my story about our calendar thing with that?
No, I don't know.
So like I put a calendar and weekend when I was desperate for a weekend, and I just put no plans this weekend.
Yeah.
And then we were at a friend's house and our friend was like, can you do this date? And Zane pulled out the calendar and he's like, yeah, I think we can because it says no plan. And I was like, I was like murdering him with my eyes. I was like, there's a reason why it says no plan.
Yeah.
And I then had to
That's
explain
why
it
the
and all that.
name. I was like, what do we name this? Because Reggie's going to go, nah, we're good.
Anyway, so you were saying?
Yeah, no, but you start off saying it to people, and to be honest, I feel a little bit selfish, or I feel a little bit pretentious going, oh no, 2 weekends a month or a weekend a month. You know, like, I don't know, it just feels weird saying it. It's almost countercultural to be like putting something in the calendar to do nothing or to have family time. But eventually the people around you that are close to you, they start to catch on to that thing that you're doing and the lingo and your things that eventually become your rituals and your the core parts of the way you do life and your lifestyle. I know about your family nights in the weeknights. So when you say, no, it's family night, I know exactly what you're talking about and I respect it, you know? So it's like, there's no issue there. So sometimes we need to just start it, even though it feels a bit weird or it feels against our like normalcy. Yeah. And then eventually becomes normal for everyone else too.
But I also think it's not anyone else's business as well.
Yeah, no, true.
Like
I'm someone who cares probably too much about what people think.
No, I do too. But but when it comes to this, I think like no one needs to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like if you say,
That's
no,
right.
I can't make it that weekend, you don't have to say, oh, it's because we've got this or we've planned to do nothing. And like obviously it's a close friend or whatever you want to tell them the details, that's fine. But like I think there are just things that we say, I've already got something on that weekend, which is not a lie. Because what you've got on is that you're prioritizing your family.
Right, yeah.
So that's really important.
Yeah.
We just went straight in.
Yeah.
We were just
Didn't
like,
take much,
hey,
hey?
welcome to episode 2. Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yes. We'll spin a wheel.
All right. So we started this tradition last episode. So we spin the wheel and then we ask each other questions.
So I'm spinning. Are you asking?
Yeah, I'll ask.
Okay.
What number?
Number 47.
47. Okay. If you started a business together, what would it be?
A podcast. This question should have been for you. Just that question stresses me out. I don't want to start a business. I don't want anything more in my life.
It doesn't make me go, woo. It's like, it still stresses me a little bit, but it's like,
you're always with the ideas and crazy. If we started a business together, what would it be?
Yeah, like together.
I feel like it's this. We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Talker.
Yeah.
Thinkers, blinkers, and blinkers. We're doing it. All right, you spin.
Okay. All right, my number. Oh, that was a quick spin. It is number 20.
If you could relive one family vacation, which one would it be? That's a good one.
Ooh, that is a great one. So when you say family, does it mean like our family growing up?
I reckon. Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, let's do that because it's a sister question.
Sure.
So, we had some good ones. Probably, maybe the one that we went to America with like all of our cousins.
Yeah.
When
that
we were
was
like,
so fun.
yeah, really young.
Yeah.
And we went around in motorhomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
There was
really
like
fun.
20 of us.
Yeah.
Uncles, aunties,
Yep.
cousins.
Yep.
And we just traveled around America.
It was so good.
It was the best.
It was the best. We like each family rented like a motorhome or an RV. And so we like lived in it for a few weeks and we like cooked and we like stayed at like Zion National Park. I remember that.
Yeah.
And we like went through Vegas and
We went through the desert. We went through snow.
Snow.
Like we just kind of went through everything. Yeah.
And it was
really
so
cool.
fun
Yeah.
because it was like Christmas time in
Yeah.
America when it was like freezing over there, which was so foreign for us.
And it was also what I like to call the glory days of just before technology was ruling,
Yeah, true.
before, this kind of current reality existed. We were using, like, we'd go, oh, can I travel for the next 2 or 3 hours in your car?
your
And all the
RV.
younger cousins would go in one RV, all the teen cousins would go in another.
Yeah.
We'd have walkie-talkies that we'd all talk to each
that's
other in the
right.
RVs.
And we played
would
card
just
games
like
on
play
the
make-believe,
table.
card games. Yeah. It was just all about connection
Yeah.
and the imagination.
Yeah, it was so fun.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good times.
And like, except for one cousin who wasn't married yet, she was engaged, dating.
Yeah.
She was dating. We were all single and obviously we didn't have any kids. So like, it was just it was so awesome. That was a great holiday.
It's a good one.
Okay. Should we do another one?
Sure.
Did you just, sorry.
Yeah.
I just got confused. What's happening? Spin the wheel.
4.
Oh, okay. Right at the beginning. What was the what was the dumbest argument we had as kids? Do you have 2 hours? Just kidding. We didn't really argue, did we?
So there's an age gap between us.
Yes. Don't say how much. No, just
I'm
kidding.
not.
You
I
can.
didn't.
You can.
So
It's a big
my
age gap.
childhood, you were either preteen or teenager.
Yeah.
And then when I was kind of preteen, teenager, you were
Like
late
young adult.
teens
Yeah.
and into early 20s. So
Yeah.
there wasn't really like a common thing that we're like both fighting over the same toy or anything like that. I do remember one thing. We used to have like a couple of like unspoken rules, like whoever got to sit in the front first, whoever got to sit in the front, it's whoever got there first, sort of thing.
Yeah. I
And
remember
sometimes,
that.
like if I got to the front seat, but like your bag was already there, or like we would be like,
Trust me to leave
no,
my
I was
bag there.
already
It's
in
like
the garage,
bagged
like
it.
talking to mum, so
Yeah.
I'm here first. So like that's how we.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think this is even funnier is if our outfits were the same. If we ever looked similar, if we were ever wearing the same color or the same style of dress, or we just like jeans and a white anything that was similar, whoever put it on first got to wear it. So the other person would have to
Really?
go and get changed. Yeah. And there would be times.
Why didn't we want to look alike? That's
I
so
don't know.
wild.
I reckon it was you. I feel like you're the one who made me change. And you're the one,
definitely feel like
you're
I
the
would have
one
made
who
you
was like,
change.
no way. Like, I'm wearing this. You can't wear
what
the
a
same
brat.
thing. No, but it was never like, you were never mean or anything.
Yeah.
It just happened a
That's
couple of
nice.
times. And then it became a thing of like, well, who put it on first? And more often than not, you put it on first because I would sleep in and get ready at the last second.
I was ready. Like
But every now and then
before.
I'd be like, no, I chose this last night and mum saw it. And so it's like, you'd have to go get changed, which I think is so crazy
I don't
and silly.
remember this at
But it was like our
all.
unspoken sister rule.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's how we started. When we'd look at each other, we'd be like, who put it on first?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, I don't look back on that as a negative thing. It's just like a silly thing that we did as sisters.
I feel like my argument with you or my beef with you.
I already
was-
know.
What? Tell me. Go. See if you
I
can
would go
guess.
into your room and touch things or take your clothes and I wouldn't put it back exactly how I found it.
That's the one. It's not that you touch things.
You didn't care.
I didn't
yeah.
care.
You let me borrow anything I
Yeah,
wanted, but I
anything you
had
wanted,
to put
but
it
just
back
put
exactly.
it
And you had this weird, like, sixth sense about
I
how
knew when
neat
you'd been
and
in my
organized.
closet.
There were times where I would try so hard to be so neat and put everything back
Really?
exactly, and you would still be like, you were in my room. I'm like, how does she know? Like, I was so careful
Well,
sometimes.
it's because
and you were
I
like,
came back.
something was off by 1/8 of a millimeter. I don't even know if that's real, but
An eighth of a
I don't know. I just made up that math. And you were like, she was in my room.
Yeah, I could feel it. And also because I came back from tour a few times and you just dumped clothes on the floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's been in my room.
Yeah.
And then there were other times when like you weren't in my room.
Mess.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't on the floor, but I could tell you had like
gone through type stuff. Yeah. I'd go in your room when I was bored and I'd like, what can I dress up in? Like your old bridesmaids dresses or formal dresses or just go through your memories. Like in your boxes at the top of the wardrobe.
Yes.
I would just go through it for fun because I just wanted to see what your life was and like what was like.
So nice.
But then I'd leave it messy.
But then I'd get bored and I'd be like, see ya.
And then, I know, a fly would go past and I'd go chase there'd be a glimmer of light. I'd go chase the sparkle.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a good house. Good memories in that house growing up. Okay. Are we good?
You don't want to ask another question?
I'm good.
Okay.
I think we've
fine.
shared some good times.
Yeah.
So speaking of rest, I had the hottest bath today that I look like a beetroot for like an hour.
It's been raining for like a week and a half and you chose today to have a bath.
Well, I didn't like choose like, okay, today I'm going to have a bath. It's that I decluttered my front room. And I was so tired that I was like, I wanted to be like well rested for tonight's episode. So I was like, I need to do something but I look like a beetroot. I was so red and I put makeup on and you could see the redness through my makeup. Like, do you know when that happens?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness, I look so hot. I just overdid it. The water was just too hot.
Yeah.
So I've been drinking water like a camel. But I'm excited to talk about this again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we kind of danced around a couple of really good points, which I hope have been helpful to you. Hopefully. That's what we've been praying for.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of circle back to what you shared, if we can, for the beginning. You spoke about a season that was like incredibly difficult for you and and I'm sure that there are plenty of women that are completely resonating with that season. So can you just recap in case someone hasn't watched the first episode?
Yeah. So I talked about how I had a miscarriage between my children, between my boy and my girl. And the reason I brought it up wasn't just to kind of drop a bomb, was just because I learnt a very important lesson, I think, during that time. So I think something maybe I already knew, but I experienced it, and God and Jesus was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want you to kind of understand in this moment. Basically, miscarriage is, in my experience, it is this robbery of joy. It is this thing that my husband and I had decided literally the night I clicked I might already be pregnant. We decided that night, I think we're ready to start trying.
Oh, okay.
And I opened my calendar to look at when I would be ovulating, when my last period was, and I was like 12 days late. And if you know me, that's kind of like not surprised that I didn't notice that. Because I have my TMI, but my cycles are longer than normal. Like when you look at average cycles, mine are longer. So me being late wasn't shocking because I'm waiting often a lot longer than the normal girl to get her period. Anyway,
okay, so it's like it's a long time, but for you, it's like
it was like any day now, normal. Any day now, you know, sort of thing. But I was like, so many days late on my like fertility app or my, you know, female app, whatever. And in my head I was like, oh, imagine, you know.
Yeah. So
I thought I'd take a test like a couple of days later. It stuck in my head and it came back positive. And so for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, totally not planned, like a little early, you know, like it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's
just had
early.
A conversation and
bam, it's already happened, you know.
What's that Twilight girl who like gets pregnant and has a baby like in 2 weeks or something?
And so it was a really beautiful moment. I still have it and I watch it every now and then to this day when I showed him the test and
the video.
The video, and the face he had and all of that. Talking to the doctor, the blood test. Yeah, you're definitely between 4 to 6 weeks. It's still early, so you know. And then eventually one day, I started spotting, and with Jensen, I know every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
I was very aware of that
Yeah.
at the time, but just with Jensen, I didn't spot. I never bled, nothing.
Yeah.
It was just completely nothing, normal.
Isn't that wild how pregnancies are so different?
I know women who every pregnancy they have a full period or they bleed or they
Wow.
spot the whole time or like that is normal for them.
Yeah.
So every person I talked to, once I started to get worried about the spotting, I
Yeah.
called my midwife, I spoke with the doctor, we went to
Yeah.
the hospital, all those natural steps that you take.
Yep.
They all, even the sonographer in the ultrasound to check how far along I was and everything, they were all giving me these stories of I bled, and just this kind of offering of hope, which I think is a bad thing. I think they were
know.
just trying to be hopeful.
Yeah.
And I was just like, thank you for being so positive. You know, they weren't just like, oh, well, next time, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it was honestly within a 2 or 3 day window. It went from when I started spotting till when it kind of all finished. And it was really intense physically because I had to actually go through passing the baby and I felt everything. Like I knew when it was intensifying, and at one point there was a huge release of blood and everything, and then the pain stopped and I knew it had passed. I knew, like I could feel I had I guess what you could call a mini labor, you know.
Wow.
And I remember vocalizing all of this to Reggie because we're in the car together while it was all kind of happening, heading to the hospital. And I said, I think that was it because I'm not in pain anymore. And there was a lot of blood. So, yeah. And the doctor was lovely and he just basically looked at the bloods, the scan, the results. And based on everything you're telling me, it sounds like you've probably already had the miscarriage. Like it's already happened, you know. And then, I hadn't even told anyone I was pregnant yet. So that was a bit tricky. I remember calling mum on the way to the hospital and being like, hey, so I have some bad news. I'm okay, but I think I'm miscarrying. And she was like, oh, my baby, you know, like, I hate that you're feeling this and all of that. And then I just had to send a message to our family chat so that we could all find out at the same time because I didn't want to go through the whole 5 phone calls of
of course,
hey, this happened, hey, this happened, hey, this happened. And then just wanting to tell like cousins, best friends, aunties, uncles, people that I'm very close to that you would share anything with. So because it was such an early loss, we lost the baby at 6 weeks, which is the average. The average miscarriage happens 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow. And some women don't even know they're pregnant at that time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which in some ways was kind of like me. I didn't even know I was pregnant. And then within I think it was within a week of finding out I was pregnant, I started bleeding. So quickly? I like barely had time to really
get excited.
I barely had time to have any connection with the baby or whatever, the fetus, whatever it was. Because, you know, miscarriages is basically just a sign of life not coping, you know, it's not working. So it needs to go. I feel like there are women who have much more intense, much more extreme versions of miscarriage than I do. And I'm so respectful of that because some women have had a chance to feel the baby move or to have seen heartbeats and to, you know, to have been in such further stages of connection into the pregnancy.
Or I've had to like physically labor.
Or physically labor the baby. And so I'm fully aware of that. But I think it was just in all of that, I was just filled with this joy and filled with this excitement of this new season. And I love being a mom. I was growing up, I was always the one that was babysitting kids. So the maternal thing is always exciting for me. And I love that season. So to have it come and to be taken so swiftly, that was the part that got me. And the fact that when you lose a baby, they tell you to wait 3 cycles before you start trying again. And for a woman, any woman who's ever had to wait or has been trying for a long time, every cycle feels like a year. It just feels like time all of a sudden is moving as slowly as possible.
Yeah.
And even Reggie, my husband, at one point was like, when we had finally fallen pregnant with Aviana, and I told him, he goes, you know what? I was just having this conversation with God the other day. God, if not now, when? Like even he was feeling the pangs of every time. No, I'm not pregnant. No, I'm not pregnant, and having to wait a few cycles before you could even start trying again.
So this is the thing about God, I find, is that nothing is wasted, even though we can happily do without it. But God is always working. There's always, I don't necessarily believe in the quote, everything happens for a reason. I don't know if I don't know if I
don't
can
think I believe in
submit to that.
either. Yeah.
I think that's people's way of justifying everything.
Yeah.
Or not justifying, but trying to find a reason for everything. But
I think it also comes from like karma and like that sort of ideology, which I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I believe in God.
Definitely. So in the midst of this incredible pain, which I find when it comes to babies, it's so personal. Like the whole world just keeps going and your whole world has been like just flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Like what did you find was, where did you see God?
I think that's exactly right. Like the idea of it all being flipped upside down. My life went from, I'm a teacher, we both have jobs, we have a beautiful little boy, to my everyday waking moment was, when am I going to fall pregnant? How can I fall pregnant? Just like that, because of something that happened.
Yeah.
And my whole focus, my energy, everything was that I want to have another baby and I want to fall pregnant and I wanted to stick this time. I think there was a definite sense of control that was taken away from me, and that's hard for people to let go of. But I think in that it wasn't so much that God took the control from me. I think he asked me to give him the control because life happened. Sin happens. Life happened. I lost a baby because that's life, not because God decided to teach me a lesson.
That's right.
He turned it into good, as he always does. And he said, all right, you've lost control. Will you give it to me? And in that season, I realized that I could be sad about it. I could grieve. I could be bummed and when's my turn, sort of bratty if I wanted to. I could be upset with God. Why can't you just help me to fall pregnant quicker or anything like that? But at the exact same time, have this stillness and this peace and this trust, knowing that eventually the baby would come. And that was God's constant, I guess, calling to me in that time was, do you trust me?
Yeah.
Do you believe that I have good plans for you? Do you believe that I want good for you? And my answers was like, yes, God, yes. And he'd just be like, well, the baby will come. The baby will come. How long, God? How long? The baby will come. The baby will come, So I think for me, which is why I brought this up in the last episode, was because I know that when you talk about rest or when you talk about trusting God or being at peace, sometimes we're going through really hard times and sometimes life is not okay and the boat is rocky and the storm is, you're in the middle of it, know, and it can be really tough to the point where you think, cool, talk about rest all you want, but my life is upside down right
chaos.
now. And I don't know how you're going to tell me to find rest in that.
People are like, I can barely sleep. Let alone
that's right.
rest.
Let alone rest.
Yeah.
And the reason I led into all of this was because our rest comes from having relationship with Jesus. And peace is hope. And who is our hope? Jesus.
Yeah.
And that is really the point there.
That's so good.
That's really
peace
the point.
Is hope.
And so we're not saying rest just because it's good for you as a woman or because it's good for you as a female or because it's going to get you through the day, but it's rest, find that relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
Because in that, peace comes.
Yeah.
And then with grieving, with hurt, with loss, with pain, with suffering, with financial burden, with whatever marital problems, whatever it is, you have this dual existence.
Yeah.
And that's what I was touching on last time, that those things can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
God is very comfortable with
Yeah.
peace and grief, peace and sadness, peace and hurt existing at
That's
the same
right.
time.
That's right.
That is where his hope reigns, his hope shines
Yes.
in those moments if we have relationship with Jesus and we're able to go, okay. And that's what happened for me.
Yeah.
I got to walk away from that going, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what comes my way. I can still have peace in it all, even if I'm anxious still,
That is
and I'm
so
nervous,
powerful.
and I'm
Yeah,
shaky,
of
and
course.
I'm can't sleep properly, and I have to take deep breaths because I'm having shallow breaths, and I can't breathe properly. And
Yeah.
even if I'm all of that, I still have peace, and
Yeah.
I go, all right, this is how I'm feeling right now. That's
Yeah.
okay, but the promise will come.
And I think there's a powerful thing when we acknowledge what we're feeling,
Yeah,
but then we also declare what God has promised us. I think that those two things, like you're saying, they can coexist. Like we can feel afraid, but we can still trust God and say that, okay, in the midst of this absolute pain,
yeah,
which is like why Jesus in the boat, he was sleeping.
yeah,
When the disciples were in absolute like panic mode and freaking out and all that. And that sleep that he was having was this deep trust in his Father. Like he knew who was in control. And that's the kind of that's what I want to follow. That's what I want to model to my kids as well, is to say like when everything is when all hell is breaking loose, we are just steadfast because we know who's in control.
Yeah.
And that's something that I remember it was a little while ago and I was in the middle of an adversity. I think it was something to do with my work or something. And I remember as clear as day being in the shower, because I think a lot of the shower is like I love water. So anytime I'm in water, around water or whatever, I just feel like I come alive. And I remember feeling like, oh, this is an adversity. And as soon as I realized it was just a hard time, it's like, oh, okay, God's got it.
yeah,
But when I was confused, I'm like, why is this happening? And why not like all this stuff? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is one of the trials that God is talking about.
Yeah.
And I was telling you earlier how like our son came in yesterday. It was yesterday or the day before or something. We're in the bathroom and he's like, why is life so hard? And we were just like, yep, it is. And even Jesus tells us that life is hard.
Yeah.
And he was like, what?
Yeah.
And we were like, yep, it says in this world you will have trouble. And he's like, but take heart because Jesus has overcome the world. And I was like, okay, what does take heart means? It means to take courage. It means to be strong because we know that Jesus has overcome the world.
Yeah.
And I actually I've been really intentional to teach our son that life is hard.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him to grow up because we live a good life and I don't want him to grow up all of a sudden being punked and or feeling like I got punked because I thought my life was perfect and then all of these things happen.
Yeah.
And I just wonder sometimes how recognizing things is actually really important in our lives. Hindsight is beautiful as well, but sometimes in the middle of the storm, in the middle of your heartache, in the middle of my trials, in the middle of like the worst thing ever, we're like, oh, okay, this is what God was talking about when he said, come to me, cast all your cares on me. Like it's in that time that we recognize. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that something that you still feel like you cling to?
Oh, yeah.
Because that was obviously a few years ago.
Yeah, it was, 3 or 4 years ago now. And in the beginning, it was fresh as in from that lesson specifically is where you hold on to it. Now it's just part of my relationship with God. Now it's just part of my faith. Promise will come whether I need to worry about it or not. And I think I've always had that knowledge and that idea of that will come. We hear it all the time in church, in sermons, or friends say it to you, know it, but it's, the experience of it, of knowing that God will provide. That's the difference there. And before, when you were talking about making things habitual, making it, part of your family lifestyle or ritual, part of rest is making your relationship with him and things that you do with him, make it a ritual, make it habitual, make it something that happens regularly, because then when you're in the storm, you can do what you just said. Oh, it's just a trial. It's just a storm. It will pass. The promise will come. Because I think too often we get so swept up in the storm and we get so caught up in all of it.
Yeah.
And I think a part of our culture in this day and age, as women, we excuse for each other.
Yeah.
And we,
okay.
oh, but you've got kids, or but you've got this, or but you've got that. And we try and make each other feel better about our situation. And I'm not speaking against, women supporting women and being there. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying that we have to move on from this. There's an excuse or a reason why things are hard, and go, no, it's life. That's life.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the relationship with God, and where's your focus on? Is your focus caught up in the storm and spinning around, and are your friends just spinning with you and encouraging the swirl to happen? Or are you guys
encouraging the drama?
Encouraging the drama, yeah.
Like sometimes it's like what I use Hunter a lot in my examples because he is like a mini me of me, and he was like having a full on meltdown, and I'm trying to teach him how to like self-regulate and be like, hey, look, you don't have to cry about every single thing. And then I said, you need to know that if you keep creating dramas, there's going to be consequences to this. And then at one point he turned around and he goes, but I'm passionate. And I was like, yeah, I hear you, because I'm passionate too.
Yeah.
And I think as girls, I love being passionate. I think it's one of my strengths is that I'm passionate about things. But at the same time, I can't let my passion overrun and rule my emotions.
Yeah, that's right.
And to the point where, like, if I get upset, I'm angry because I'm passionate about it. Or if I get hurt about something, I'm offended. And you know, and I'm all in with that.
Yeah.
So I think is that kind of what you were meaning?
And also not forgetting what he's done for you, not forgetting that regardless of any miracle or saving grace he's ever performed in your life, the cross happened.
That's right.
We have to remember that the cross happened. And one of our friends preached a sermon at church one day basically saying that Jesus coming was the whole miracle. Yeah. And that it's not secondary consolation prize, it's the whole miracle. And I think we often have to keep our eyes set on that focus, that it's actually the cross happened. So what are we doing here? You know, and we can still sit and cry together, and we can still hold hands and hold each other and pick each other up when we're broken. Absolutely. That can still happen. Please don't get me wrong. But if anything, I'd love women to feel empowered to speak life and speak promises and speak remembering what happened on the cross, that it's you're going to get through this. And that just like, who's the guy that called fire down from heaven? Elijah. I can't remember whether it's Elisha or Elijah, but he did this miracle. And then 2 seconds later, he's running into the mountain and hiding.
Into
and I'm
the
just,
unknown. I don't know what the heck
just
he was
we
thinking.
do that so often as
we
humans.
So do that.
God does something for us, or he shows up for us, and then 6 months later something's happened and we're off running to hide in the cave.
Or even the week after.
The week after, and you're
or
like,
the day after.
Don't
like
you remember what he just did for you?
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, my focus is there's peace, there's hope. It can all turn to poo, you know, but it's okay. It's all good.
And that's
in
why
the long run. And that's my rest.
Yes.
That's where my rest comes from. That's why I can smile and say, yeah, I'm doing good. That's why I can pick myself up and keep going and keep striving for excellence and keep trying to be good in this world and keep trying to raise my children and be a good wife, because I have that rest in the peace that I have.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why the Israelites set up altars whenever there was like miracles that happened. And quite often throughout the Old Testament, it says, set it up so that this can be a testament for future generations.
Yeah.
And
remember what happened
here. And I think sometimes we don't set up physical altars around our life, but I feel like I'm
always
we could.
Like, I'm going to get that tattooed.
Yeah.
The amount of, there's probably 70 tattoos I would have gotten if I actually, anytime God taught me a lesson or something, like, I'm going to get a tattoo about that.
I'm the same. And peace was one of those words.
Altars on my body, like remind me, Lord.
Peace was one of those words that it's just like, it's become such an anthem for me that I'm like, I've become like, what's the word? Like tenacious about it, because I'm like, one of the things that God has been convicting me about is to be a peacemaker in my home. And that's something that it's not arguing. That's not what a peacemaker is. I think a peacemaker is someone, sorry, it's not about the person, it's about what we're doing. It's the act of trying to continuously, habitually, routinely create a place of peace. And that is why, it's been such an anthem for me. I think that there's this, there's a couple of things I want to talk about, but we're running out of time. So I might just go. I know.
I've hijacked
it's
this.
wild. I love it. It's amazing. But there's this book, and I've brought it to showcase.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good book.
This is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. He has no idea that I'm talking about him. So it's not like this is a sponsored thing.
This is not
I just
a sponsored
love
ad.
this book so much. I went out and I bought like 5 of them. And whenever I've come across someone who I'm like, they really need to read this, like I've gifted it to them. And I've got 2 left in my house. So clearly I've only given 3 away. But it is so good. And I remember my friend actually, he told me to read it. And then I remember reading it for the first time and feeling so incredibly sad, because I felt like the lifestyle that I was leading at the time, I was never going to be able to have this. And I actually went and told my friend.
So real.
Yeah, when I talked to him and I was like, what the picture that he has painted of what rest and peace looks like feels like it's so out of reach that I'm almost feeling desperate, because I feel like I'm never gonna achieve that in my life. But I think that was the beginning of a journey for me. And I even remember like talking to a group of people about it, and this one woman, and I can't remember who it was, and I think that's for a reason. They said, I would love to read that kind of a book, but I don't have time for it. And I was like, you're the exact person that needs to read this.
Yeah.
Because that was me. Like I was like, I want to slow down. I want to have time. I want to feel at peace and refreshed, but I don't have time to do any of that.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, what are we living? Like what kind of a perpetual state are we putting ourselves in? And we can blame work. We can blame, we've got lots of children, or we've got businesses, or we've got projects, or we can put 100 very justified reasons. But at the end of the day, we have the same 24 hours a day that Jesus had.
Yeah.
And the same
Beyonce had.
I was going to say Beyonce. Someone said it.
No, that's an actual quote that goes around. Like you have the same amount of time in a day that Beyonce has.
I was literally about to say Jesus and Beyonce, because I read that in some
Is that sacrilegious? Oh my gosh.
But it's like, the point is that it's like these people who achieved incredible things, they have the same amount of time that we do. And we need to take control back over our time and our schedule and take ownership of it, and not just be like a victim to, it's this, or well, it's that. And
that's what I was talking about before, about getting caught up in the victim mentality.
Yeah. And yes, there are things that will hijack our time. Like, when our kid is sick, all of a sudden we're spending a lot of time in hospital, and we don't have control over that. That's been slightly part of our journey, and it will be part of our future. And when I was in hospital, I was thinking, man, for some parents, this is their life. Like they live in these places. And we had a very close friend who they did that. But I'm talking about when we have our schedule
in
and all
the
of that.
everyday,
That's what I'm
the mundane.
about.
It's not the big uncontrollable circumstantial things where like serious stuff is happening. We're not talking about that stuff. We're talking about the everyday woman, the everyday mundane things, the everyday things that control our schedules. That's
right.
what we're talking about here.
That's right. And John Mark Comer actually says that hurry, it's because it's the ruthless elimination of hurry. Hurry is the greatest enemy of a spiritually healthy life.
Yes.
And I remember like years ago, like when, the internet was just kind of becoming a thing where you could actually search things up and stuff like that. I remember reading this whole story about how, someone must have wrote it. It's not biblical or whatever, but someone wrote how like the enemy was saying, well, if I can't stop them from going to church, then I'm going to make them busy. and I'm going to make them really busy. And I was a teenager when I read that, and it's always stuck in my mind because I thought that's one of his greatest weapons, is to make our lives so busy that first and foremost, we don't have time for God. And even, I work in ministry. I even felt like I would get so busy working for God, the classic saying that you work so much for God that you don't spend time with God. And I just felt like this is too crazy. And what happens is we get burnt out, we're overstimulated, we can't sleep properly. And I think life is a marathon, and we're treating it like we're doing 100-meter sprints, and we're trying to consistently we just got to get through. We just got to get through. We got to get through. And then I'm like, but what if God in the get through, what if God is like actually saying that we got I got a lot more of a road to travel. We can't just keep getting through. And that's why I love this book so much, because it makes you like really stop and think. And one of the things that he says, because there's like 4 key practices: silence and solitude. So that's like taking time out of your everyday to spend time with God. Sabbath, which is, 1 day a week where you rest, delight, worship, eat really good food. Simplicity, which is decluttering, which, like, I think I said this last time, Zane calls it my other religion. I flip and love decluttering. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is slowing. So he gives examples of like purposely drive in the slow lane on the freeway.
Oh my gosh, no.
I know, right?
I cannot stand that. Everyone on the road, get out of my way. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, and there's no rush. I'm on time. I just, for whatever reason, driving is like a waste of my time.
I just feel like a bit competitive with myself.
Could drive for me, so I could just do things or hang out with my kids in the back. Like, I'm just like, I think as I drive a lot, I drive to work, drop everyone off, drive home, pick everyone up. Like, it's just, I feel like I spend
a lot of time in the car.
15 to 20% of my day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It's like 2 or 3 hours sometimes a day, especially if you have an appointment. Oh, anyway, go on.
Well,
drive on the left side.
He's just giving examples of like intentionally slowing down. So like when you're at Coles or Woolies and you see like the longest line and the checkout person is slow, get in that line.
If you're listening, all of us, the whole
us
group and the voices in my head, we're all like eyes wide open. What the heck? Nah, I do self-checkout with a full trolley.
What?
Yeah, because I can do it better myself. Sorry, that's
why do you say sorry? That's how you live your life.
They pack it not the way I like it, and I'll do it quicker than they can.
Okay, we'll do it. Oh. This is just examples.
No, I know, but
down.
I understand the purpose.
You shut down both of the examples that I've given.
That's why I'm like, you're like, these are just examples. I'm like, that's the point, is that I can't stand both those things, but I probably should try those things just to really get in the practice of slowing down.
I think one of the things that he's getting at is that, like, when you do things like that, you notice different things. Because if you are like trying to get in and out, that's your goal, that's your focus. But when you stand in the line, and I only know this because I tried it one time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stand in the longest line. And purposely, like, don't go on your phone either. Like, don't get in a line and then think, oh, I'm going to go on Instagram now or whatever. Like, just stand there and just look around. And the things you'll notice, the things you'll hear, and then on top of that, I think what God is trying to do is say, what are you, like, one of the questions that I've always, I strive to ask God is, okay, God, like, what do you want me to see right now? What's happening around? Is there a story that someone is telling someone that I need to hear that story? Or is this checkout person, are they having a really hard day? And with me standing in this line and getting to them finally after like half an hour, I remember Mum doing that once. Like, there was this guy who was serving us and he was so rude. And I was like getting upset. I was like, I can't stand it when hospitality people are rude. I'm like, you're in the serving business. Like, you are going to come across
customer
people.
Service
yeah,
is
customer
your
service.
forte.
Yeah, totally. And I remember Mum just saying, she said something like, how's your day going? Just like a simple question, and it literally cut the tension like in half. And straight away, his whole demeanor changed. And he was like, I'm having a really tough day. And she was like, I'm sorry to hear that. And he went the opposite. He was like, helping us and, whatever you need. And it's those things that I sometimes wonder, maybe that's why we're supposed to slow down. Not so we take more time or we're late to the next thing or whatever, but it's so that we can like just take a step out of our own box, because we're so focused on ourselves that we can think, okay, what's going on around here that maybe I need to pay attention?
What are we missing?
Yes. What are we missing?
And I think it goes into many different areas, not just in like spiritual realms of like, God, where can I be your hands and feet right now? But it's also at home as well. It's in our workplaces. It's in the car with the kids. It's wherever we are. What am I missing? That's the constant thing that is probably the concern. And we were created not bound by time originally. And God, we know that. God's not bound by time, but we were actually wired to not be bound by time.
That's right.
We were meant to live forever. So this rush and the fact that we are getting busier and busier, the years are going faster and faster. Everyone is saying it's just flying. Time's just flying. The weeks are just flying more and more.
Not when you're pregnant. Oh my gosh. When you're pregnant, it feels like you're pregnant for 2 years.
Yeah.
Especially when you're sick.
Yeah. But that's just the way it's heading. Everyone's talking about how time is getting quicker. Every year that comes and goes, they're getting faster and faster.
Yeah.
And it's just going completely against our actual biology, our actual human nature. It's going against it. And so to stop and do these practices, I think it's just practices. It's not, okay, everyone, let's all this week slow down to look around what God's doing.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Awesome. Good. Look at what God's doing.
Irritating.
That's great.
No.
But let's think about ways we can slow down to see what are we missing out on. And that I can just picture people that I know who are the people who pick the long line and are just there smiling, just having a daze or maybe off in space because they're just used to being slow and chill and it's no issue.
Yeah.
No problem to wait. And I'm always like, gosh, take my hat off to you.
Well, I just equate it to like 40 minutes somewhere feels like an eternity, but I'm happy to watch a 40-minute episode of a show.
Yes.
It's still 40 minutes.
It's so true. And you're doing nothing. You're achieving nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the main point.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't so much think you're doing nothing, because sometimes I think we need to just mentally relax, but we're not achieving. Like we're not like kicking goals and stuff like that. Like you don't get to the end of the year and go, oh, guys, these are the 700 Netflix seasons that I've watched. Like I would be embarrassed if I had watched that many shows. I probably have. But like but you would say, oh, here's the 5 books that I read this for the last few months or whatever. But yet, when you equate the same amount of time, like I would happily spend 40 minutes watching this episode, but I would never spend 40 minutes in the car.
Yeah.
Like waiting on the slow lane or whatever. Yeah. And I think that's probably the big issue.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about this. We've talked about different areas of life. We've talked about the journeys, the struggles, what books say and all of that. So what can we give our listeners something to walk away with? What can we give them to walk away with? Maybe some main ideas or some main points recapping, or are there any practical tips that maybe you've kind of been reflecting on or thinking of? That face says, yes, I have.
I just think like I'm all about the practical. Like how do we make this work? And I love my systems. So like if I think I want to read more, I got to figure out how can I fit this into my system. I think the first practical way is think about your rhythms. Like what kind of rhythms are you like experiencing at the moment? And if it's a busy rhythm, then how can you intentionally like slow it down? And that might mean like practically speaking, it might mean that you have to say no to some things. Or if every single person has an extracurricular activity, maybe we need to like rethink it.
Maybe the weeks are what's busy, your busy rhythm, and the weekends are not that busy, or vice versa.
That's right. Or I would encourage, have a day where it's a no day to everything else.
Yeah.
And so if every single day is packed, Friday's coming or Saturday's coming or Monday's coming, and you've got that time with your family or by yourself and whatever it is. I think that's really important. I think another practical way, we talked a lot about this in the first episode, is to reframe how we view rest.
Yeah.
So if rest is a strategy, then actually think, okay, in order for me to like live a life that's sustainable, what kind of strategies am I doing? And that goes back to, again, your calendar, your schedule, like your priorities essentially. And then think about what your values are. Like if you value rest, it's got to be seen in your calendar. Otherwise, it's just a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not actually like a practical part.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other things that I've been listening to the book Thrive by Arianna Huffington, the lady who started the Huffington Post, and she talks a lot about meditation, and that's something that I've done in my life, like on and off, and that's another thing. There's a lot of guiding Christian meditations like on YouTube. The final thing that I wanted to just mention was there is a way that we can teach that to our children. So we can have quiet time with our children. And that's something where there's no devices. We're either drawing or we're coloring in or we're building something or we're creating something. And especially now, in the age that I'm in with my son, is we're reading together. And so just teaching that, or else we're just going to be modeling rapidness, hurry, busy to our kids. And it's just going to get faster and faster. So I think that's some practical things that we can really take in to say, okay, like there's those rules of like, an hour or two before bed, turn all your devices off. Like our eyes cannot be on screens. There's those kinds of things that you can do as well. But just saying, okay, we're having quiet time now is like really important because it's starting to teach them that they don't have to be stimulated all the time.
Yeah. I think it's also really important for me in this journey of trying to become less busy and trying to find more time with God and to just be a bit more at rest. Just start with one thing as well, because it is a nice idea to go, all right, I'm ripping the Band-Aid and we're going to get in there. I'm going to change my year. And that's just going to fall very
also
quickly.
Like, it can also be really overwhelming.
Yes.
Because you feel like
when
you're
you
changing
don't do it,
things.
or when you don't hit the goals you had for the week, or you feel like you're failing, and that's just not the point of this. So just start with one thing.
Yeah.
And just stick at that for a few weeks and let that become practice and let that
or even
become
a few
ritual.
Months.
Yeah. And then introduce something else.
Yep.
And then eventually introduce something else. For me, sometimes I just go off Instagram for a whole month. I went off Instagram from Christmas till the other side of New Year's, and it was the best. I'm going to be off Instagram for this whole month of March, and I'm working my way. I know it's crazy, but I would like to not be on Instagram at all. I'd like to delete my account one day and to just not be on social media at all. I know that sounds ridiculous because in this day and age, that's how we keep in contact with everyone. That's just one of my little things that I'm like, can I do it? Praying with my kids in the car before we leave in the morning. Sometimes we're driving out of the driveway as I'm saying the prayer. Sometimes we're stopped because it depends on how much time we have, saying prayers with my kids, but getting them to actually go, what are you going to pray for tonight? Not just mum and dad always saying the prayer. But those are just 2 or 3 things that I'm slowly doing. I actually had a meme that I found online. I thought it went perfect, and this will be the last thing I say, but it was like, I actually posted it to my story. Shout out to everyone who can't keep up with the laundry or dishes, but decided it was a great idea to start gardening. I was like, that's me. I can't keep up. It's just always there.
Yeah.
And then I went and planted a whole garden.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pick one thing.
One thing.
And just start with that and let that become part of your family's lifestyle that everyone in the family understands, acknowledges, and takes ownership over. And then move on to something else.
Yeah.
I think that's the beginning of rest. Just start with one simple, practical thing.
And pray about it.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds so like, it might sound silly to people, but this is what I do. Like I told you, I had to declutter my front room. I've been praying about that for days because I had no idea how to do it, and I didn't know how to rearrange because it's a multi-purpose room, and I had to fit in two whole sections. We got Hunter a piano, and we needed Zane to fit his desk in there. So literally on my walks, I was like, God, help me. I don't know how to do this. And there was a time when I was really embarrassed to take those things to God, but now I'm like, He knows who I am. He knows my struggles. He knows my fears. And if that's going to be better for my family, of course I'm going to take it to God. If there's something where you're like, God, I don't know where to start, or God, I want to do this one thing. How do I bring it in? How do I convince my husband? How do I convince my kids? How do I get people on board? Like whatever it is, take it to God, as small and insignificant as you might think it is.
Yeah.
He's listening.
Absolutely. And he cares.
Yeah,
He's
does.
a God of details.
Yes.
He loves the details. Yeah.
And if he can like design and create the whole world, he can design and create a life that you want to live. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. We're building the kind of space we've always wanted to be a part of. A community where women can feel and think and laugh and maybe even shed a few tears. This is where real life meets real faith. And shared lived experiences plus open hearts will remind us that hope is always within reach. Our prayer is that every time you press play, you'll walk away lighter and stronger and ready to step into everything God has for you. So thank you again for being here. You are stronger than you know. Sending love, peace, and a little sparkle. If you loved today's episode, we would love if you would share it with a friend. And join us at soulstrong.com.au. Remember, we are better together.
I am, you are, we are so strong.